right, if I can have your attention, we'll begin. My name is Robert Schiffbauer, and on behalf of myself, Mr. Vernon, and Mr. Scott, my fellow supervisor, who is attending his son's baseball game. It certainly has high priority. So we would like to welcome you here today, along with the Frankhouser family, to pay a dedication and actually I think a celebration to a person who served our community so much and helped mold it and make it into what it is today. I had the pleasure and honor as a supervisor working with Mr. Frankhouser for 36 years. That's a long time. We certainly got to know each other. I'm sure Tom's going home with Todd and saying, what's wrong with that guy? There's something wrong with him. But we played it, we had different personalities. But the main thing is, one thing that we did share, we had a common bond. Is in the end, when our decisions were made, it was based on the best for South Union Township. We didn't squibble, fight in the newspaper. We exchanged opinions. It got no worse than that. And I think that's why South Union Township, along with Mr. Coble, who also served around 36 years as well, and Tom's replacement, Mr. Scott, and replacement for Mr. Coble, Mr. Vernon, they picked up right up where they left off. But we've come a long way. But the relationship with Tom and I, it was kind of like you've heard of The Odd Couple. I'm the Oscar, and Tom was the second half, the Felix of The Odd Couple. We had different strengths, and that combined to, I think, allow the operations of South Union Township to move in the direction that has for these many years. And we just hope to continue that. But Tom, it was more than just his dedication to his job as township supervisor. Tom started way back in the community here with the Hopwood Area Recreation Council. He's a lifelong resident of the Hopwood area, as involved and committed to the people living here. From that, he went on to serving one of the first members of the South Union Township Planning Commission. That's where it all started, when South Union took control of their own destiny. And the role that the Planning Commission was very important in dictating what we wanted to do here in South Union Township, and not from other people from inside the county courthouse. Also, Tom served as a school director, and from that he went on to become, as you well know, the township supervisor. But I think the thing most important, the greatest accomplishment of Tom Frankhouser, is the family he raised. The person he raised it with, his wife Roberta. As I mentioned, I was with Tom for all those years, and I could see the fantastic job that Tom did. And I think that is by far his greatest accomplishment. He has some great children. They've all become very successful and involved in their communities just like Tom has. But I'm going to leave it at that, but I just cannot tell you the skills that Tom brought to this township helped bring us to where we are at today. And it would not have been possible without his knowledge and his ambition and his drive and his ability to work with his other supervisors. That is the key to our success. We're going to keep that going, and thank you for coming. I'd like to introduce my fellow supervisor, Mr. Vernon. He's going to say a few words.
Thanks, Bob. What else can I say? Put it off. No, really, Tom was a very unique person. So was Roberta. I wasn't with Tom here only 8 years, but back in the early 70s, I was lucky enough to have Tammy in school and Tommy in school, and I had two excellent ball players, Mr. Gary Frankhouser and Lee Frankhouser. Went to many tryouts together, and they're very successful. And, I'm not going to talk too long because I got an attorney next door who's going to speak about 15 minutes to you. Tom was called Mr. Hopwood by everybody. And we had a little joke going, if he died before I died, I promised I was going to get him a statue. He says, Rick, you do that, and I promise you, I'll haunt you the rest of your life. So Tom and Roberta, I hope to goodness don't haunt me for this. We just got you a plaque. So you can't. That's Bob Shipyard's idea with the plaque. So you don't haunt him. But seriously, without this Tom here, we wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have the Hopwood Route 40. I mean, he's just an excellent person. We miss him every day. We just found Gary has his book, so he's gonna loan it to us. That was his Bible for South Union Township. But Tom, Roberta, I always told you before, you have an all-American family, and you're very lucky, and the children are very lucky to have Tom and Roberta as your parents. Gary, I know you got about 15-minute speech with their parents. Thank you very much for coming.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Hope I don't get too disjointed and emotional, but I want to thank, first of all, welcome the honored guests, family, friends, and everyone. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, from myself, my two brothers, Tommy and Lee, two sisters, Lisa and Tammy, all of our spouses, our children, grandchildren of Tom, and great-grandchildren of Tom. All sincerely thank you for coming here. When we were young, and as Bob said, Hopwood Area Recreation Council started, it was huge. Every year there was a parade at the beginning of the season around Mother's Day, and it would go all the way through Hopwood down to Hutchison, and then my father, as he was apt to do, took the microphone. And he started those speeches every year with what I would like to start with also. It's a beautiful day in Hopwood, Pennsylvania. I'm sure our father would be the first to say, and Rick alluded to this, don't waste time or effort doing something like this for him. But then he would be the first to do it for someone else. And if he was here, he would make it about everyone else. I could go street by street, community by community, naming the families, the people, the fathers, the mothers, and everyone that really took South Union to heart to make it one of the best places in the world to live. And just a few of them that are here today: Mr. Anderson, best friend, Mr. Lowledge, the Swartzes, Williams, Mr. Sepik, everyone that, and I'm going to miss everybody, but you know, I could say I could go street by street and Dee Dee Carmel, I want to mention him also. I always wonder why I have to make the speeches. I guess because I'm a lawyer, but that makes everyone think I'm the oldest. I'm not, so just so you know that. Dad was always asked to move up from where he came from. As Bob said, planning commission, township supervisor, everyone always asked him to move to county commissioner or statewide office or something like that. But he always said that he would much rather stay here in South Union, where he and his co-supervisors and the folks and the great people that work for the supervisors could actually continue to see the fruits of their efforts and make a difference for those closest to them. And that's exactly what they've done. This is certainly evident in what has happened throughout South Union in the past 40 plus years. Maintaining the infrastructure, establishing the recreational opportunities that are unparalleled, advancing the economic development, and inviting business opportunities that are dynamic and ever-changing. Dad provided his unique foresight and planning abilities to enhance the atmosphere of the township and attract the development and continue to maintain the infrastructure while not compromising the financial stability of the township without tax increases, as these supervisors have participated in for the last 40 years. Dad's knowledge of engineering, zoning, planning, township code were unparalleled, and I often would take advantage of that source of information. I never hesitated to run things through Dad when unique issues may have been presented to me. He was much better than any other lawyer that I ever talked to. These attributes then translated to his relationship with us. Our family life always was first. I don't think I can ever remember a time when Dad or Mom would not be there for us for any issue or anything that they could do for us. That was even multiplied exponentially when he and Mom were involved with the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren now. Pappy was so proud of all his grandchildren. He rarely missed an opportunity to show that pride and love. And that will continue forever. Once again, we would thank the supervisors, Bob, Rick, and Jason, for this beautiful, lasting memorial to our father, Thomas Lee Frankhouser. Beauty is free. In a setting like this, the legacy can live in that beauty. Much like we now see in our smiles today, and in the smiles of us as his children, his grandchildren, great-grandchildren, we can now explain how Pappy and Grammy lived their lives and loved us unconditionally. With that, this is the book that he kept everything in. This has probably more in it than most people's Microsoft Outlook. Every phone number, every street in the township, every square footage of asphalt is in this book. And he would, from time to time, write little sayings that he would stick in this book, and I found one this morning. To serve others above self. To live a religious life, to give all to the community and fellow man, and to die in the grace of God. Words of Tom. Thank you. Jim Davis couldn't be here today. He's at the convention working on the floor in Philadelphia, and he asked me to read this letter. This is a wonderful day for the Frankhouser family and the people of South Union Township. This dedication is a fitting tribute to Tom for a community which he loved and served with honor and distinction. I first met Tom when I was a young attorney, having recently been appointed South Union Township solicitor. His commitment to South Union Township community was obvious. Anyone who came in contact with Tom immediately recognized that he possessed all of the qualities necessary for government service and true leadership. He was knowledgeable, honest, and extremely hardworking. Every day that I worked with Tom afforded me an opportunity to learn from him. I'm so grateful for all that he has taught me. Tom had that unique ability of denying a request from a citizen in a way that the citizen was satisfied. The township had done the right thing. No one ever seemed to get upset with Tom. I think they knew that he was doing what was right. I am disappointed that I could not be present today for the ceremony. Tom loved South Union Township, and he loved the people of South Union Township. His memory will live on in numerous accomplishments, his wonderful family, and all that were blessed to have known him. Sincerely, James T. Davis.
Here, I'm going to take a quick break to hand out water.
Okay, that's the end of what I have to say. I think at this point we're going to have an unveiling, and before we do that, I want to first sincerely and thank and congratulate Rob Swartz for a fantastic job on this side. That's awesome. Okay, Bob?
Just one thing before I ask the Frankhouser family to come up here to do the unveiling. We do not have the actual plaque for reasons I'm not going to go into, but probably within the next week or so we will have a plaque. It will be installed and displayed on a pedestal somewhere in this general area here. But one other thing about Tom, I just want to tell you, I think it highlights how much he meant to how the township operates in the way it affects the supervisors. And you can ask Rick, there's almost never a day that goes by that something comes up that I say or Rick says, boy, I wish we had Tom here. He certainly could help us out. So with that, I'd like to bring the Frankhouser family. We'll have the unveiling of the presentation. This is exactly what the plaque is going to look like.
Right here.
Okay, let's go ahead and just lift it back. We want to thank you for coming today, and it'll be so nice to drive by this corner here on 40 and off the Fairchance Road to look over and see what a nice display we have for a great person. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
There's some water and cookies. If anybody wants a little refreshment and some, camaraderie and talking about the good old days with our dad. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary. Water, anybody?
Good job.
The